Welcome to the First Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gaiman, and this is a very special bonus episode. We'll get to our special guest in just 1 second, but let me bring in Kyle Porter. KP, welcome, bud.
How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I feel like I wrote like 5,000 words this morning. There's just so much going on in golf, and I can't keep up with it all. And now we've got something else to talk about today. So it's fun. It's a ton of fun, and I'm excited about it.
They're getting younger. They're getting better. We're going to talk to a young, very good one right now. Cole Hammer, senior at the University of Texas. Cole, welcome, man. Appreciate you hopping on.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Kyle, 5,000 words is a lot on a Monday morning, and
you're not
going to be able to write more than 1,000 words about me. That's for sure.
This feels like a good intersection, Kyle, of like you writing a lot of words and like a college student writing a lot of words. Like there's a good Venn diagram for you two right now on writing words.
For sure. The difference, I think, is that I actually want to write the words that I read, and Cole probably does not want to write the words that he's writing. No, it's fun though. Obviously we talked a ton about Hoagie and Spieth and the Saudi internet. I mean, there's so much going on. The one question I had for you, Cole, is just how deep you are into all this stuff. Because obviously Rick and I, we love it, but it's also our job to like be deep into it, to know like as much as we can possibly know, to be on data golf all the time. How much are you into it? Or is it like not healthy for you as a player to like be kind of deep in that world?
I would say I am more deep than most of my peers. I'm not hopping in on the data analytics and looking at data golf and stuff like that. But I know what's going on week to week. I kind of know the backstories behind each player. There's almost never a time when a player pops up on the screen and I don't know their backstory. So I would say I follow it pretty closely, and I didn't miss a shot yesterday.
I love that. That's so cool. I mean,
Tom Hoagie also didn't miss a shot yesterday on the back nine. So
he was locked in. Cole, I feel like we have been with you and our presence in the ether for a long time, right? It's the Walker Cups, it's the Arnold Palmer Cup, it's the Junior President's Cup. It's what, four years at Texas. Like, it feels like you've been playing a very high level of golf for a very long time. Do you feel that way?
I definitely do. And I've been lucky enough to play in tournaments representing my country and playing golf at a high level. And I think that all kind of got kickstarted when I played in the U.S. Open in 2015. And I've just been exposed to, I guess, the higher levels of golf. And I think it's helped me a lot. And I'm definitely ready for the next step, because I feel like I've, been there and done that with the amateur game. And while I've enjoyed it, I'm excited for the next step.
Well, so your first U.S. Open, 2015 Chambers Bay, that was actually my first U.S. Open to cover in this job. And I remember, what were you, 15, 14? 15. I remember being out there, and I saw you, or I briefly like ran across you or whatever. And I was like, man, that guy, you were a freshman in high school, sophomore in high school. You were just such a kid then. And I'm curious, when you think about that version of you to now, what's the biggest thing that has changed in terms of your game and how it's evolved?
There's no question that it's evolved. I think when I think back to it when I was 15, I kind of realize now that I had no clue what I was doing. I had no clue what was going on. It was like being in the middle of a circus, and I was just, part of the play essentially. And I think it was a great experience getting to meet a bunch of those guys. But as far as like helping my golf game, I don't think it did a whole lot other than just expose me to the higher levels of the amateur game, which then kind of led me to some of the success that I had. So, I don't think it really formed me as a player as much as it did just, setting up experiences for me.
The idea of you feeling like you didn't know anything then, is that something that you hope to also feel in 5 years when you look back at your current self, that you have no idea what you're doing?
I think there is some validity to that for sure. But as we just talked about, I pay way too much attention to the game to not know what's going on. And I feel like now that I've played in a few majors, I have a pretty good idea of what the next step looks like and everything that goes along with it. And I'm sure I'll learn more along the way. But yeah, I mean, if 5 years down the road, I'm thinking back to when I was 22 and oblivious to I guess the road ahead, then that would not be a bad thing whatsoever.
I heard so Tom Hoagie was actually talking yesterday about how when he first started out, his first PGA Tour event was like 3 events into his pro career, and he said the thing that stuck out to him was not how good the good shots were, but how good the misses were. And I'm curious because you have crossover in both worlds. You're still playing college game, but you've played with professionals a lot. What is the biggest difference you see in kind of the world that you're mostly in, which is college, versus the world that you're going to be in, which is eventually PGA Tour?
I think watching, just like Hoagie said, honestly, watching players manage their misses. Most golf courses we play, even on the college level, there's one side you can miss on and one side you really can't. And it seems like when I've played on the bigger stages, the guys missing the right spots and kind of allow themselves to make no worse than a bogey. Doubles really hurt. And, even if they do hit it on the wrong side, they're trying to limit the damage. And I think when I look at college golfers, there's a propensity to play a little bit more like Phil Mickelson and be aggressive and kind of go for everything. Now that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, you can make a lot of birdies that way, but I think the guys who are out there on tour who don't necessarily have the same talent level as Phil, for example, are able to sustain a career by limiting the damage and attacking when they need to, versus just always being on the attack.
Let's mine into that kind of connection between the PGA Tour and the college game right now, because PGA Tour University is a program that's, well, I think it might be in its second year. It's relatively new. Are you aware of your current standings on this leaderboard, by the way, right now?
I am for sure. I've been following week to week.
He said he was deep, Rick. That's not something that he wouldn't know, I don't think.
All right, so he's currently ninth, Cole, on the PGA Tour U leaderboard here, and this is kind of interesting, right? It's kind of a way for the tour to bridge the gap from some of the best college players that we have in our game to either the Korn Ferry Tour or another one of their international circuits. Is this something that you think is good for the game? Is an opportunity for our college best to kind of make a splash immediately?
Well, I think it depends on who you talk to. If from our perspective as college players, it's the greatest thing that's ever happened.
I mean, that and the NIL, right?
For us to, launch onto the Korn Ferry is huge. I mean, it's so hard to make it through Q school, and in the past, guys have had to make that full journey. And with PGA Tour U, it's rewarding great college golf, because in the past you could be the best college golfer win every single tournament you played in, and then as soon as you pull the trigger for to turn pro, I mean, you're back to square one. And now that the PGA Tour is giving us kind of a launch pad to jump to the next level pretty quickly, and for us that's a great thing. But I think if you talk to some of the guys on tour, they might not look at it the same way, just because they had to go through the long, hard journey versus us being able to jump right out there. But still, it rewards great golf, and I think it'll help grow the game and keep kids in school, which is obviously a huge factor.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think you always see, I don't know, with change, there's always friction, especially from the old guard. And I think it's a great thing too. The guy that I was thinking about when you were talking earlier about having to manage yourself on the PGA Tour more was Victor Hoblin, because he has so much talent, and then he gets out there and you're like, probably shouldn't be going for that pin, my man. Like that's not one you should be going at. But like in college, and my question is, were you on the set? Were you at Texas when him and Wolf were at OSU together?
Yes, I overlapped with them for a year.
Okay. I mean, how crazy is it that that team had Ventura. They also had obviously Wolf and Hoblin, and then Austin Eckroat, who I think is in your class or is your grade and is now.
Yeah, Eckroat's a year older than me. They had Hoblin, Zach Boshu, Matt Wolf, and Hayden Wood.
That's right. And Boshu actually played in the Saudi event last week, I saw. But how crazy is it that those guys were on the same team together, and now Hovland's number 3 in the world, and Wolf is number 35 in the world? I mean, what was that like competing against them there?
It's wild. I mean, they were obviously having incredible collegiate careers when I first came out my freshman year. They were essentially winning every time they cheated up, it seemed like. And I guess that was it carried over to the pro game, that's for sure. But I think it almost shows how good the competition level is in the college game. The top collegiate players are ready to go from the get-go. I know that's something that we talk about nowadays. But I think it really is true. And, Wolf, Hoblin, Morikawa, even Justin Suh is coming into his own now finally. I mean, our prime examples of that. And, I think to circle it all back to PGA Tour U, I think that's a good way to showcase it.
Yeah.
Why are college players more ready now? I mean, we talk about it all the time. I say it all the time, but from your perspective, why are college golfers more ready when they come out now?
I think we almost have to be. And I really think it comes back to one word, and that's Tiger. I think when he came out and dominated from the get-go, it inspired everybody to be able to do the same. And I think as college kids, we get to watch these guys on TV compete on a daily basis now. And if we go to a tournament, we can kind of see how they go about their day and how they compete. And so I think that gives us an idea of what goes into being successful early on. And so watching them, being around them, and then just kind of letting yourself play and play your own game is a big factor in us just being able to go out there and succeed right away.
My wife was actually asking me this morning if she was like, do you think Tiger would be as successful? I don't know why we were talking about this, but do you think he would be as successful in 2022 if he was playing? I said, no, not really. But like, he also gets credit for having created all this, right? Like he almost should get more credit for that than what he accomplished, because to like shift an entire industry like that is just, it's remarkable. Last one from me, Cole, is one thing that Rick and I talk about as former low-level college baseball players is the guys that we either played with or against that we were like, oh my gosh, like I can't do that. Like that's unbelievable. Who is the guy that you've played with or against that you were just kind of not even like as a whole player, but maybe one skill that they had that you were kind of in awe of?
Well, I think it's changed year to year as I've been in school. When I was a freshman, the way Colin and Wolf hit the ball was, astronomically different than everybody else in college golf, and Hovland too. But then now that I'm the old one, I've kind of been around the block a little bit and seen what it takes to be good. There's really only a few guys that seriously impress me. And I'm always impressed by ball striking. I think that's a great sign of success on the next level. If you look at stats, strokes gained approach is just so important, and putting the ball in the fairway is too. And I look at guys like Eugenio Lopez, Eugenio Chikara, who just won in Hawaii last week. I mean, he just stripes the crap out of the ball, for lack of a better word. It's impressive. And Pearson Cootie too, hits it so well. There's just a lot of guys out there who, well, not a lot. There's guys out there who hit the ball. Their ball makes a different noise.
Yeah.
Wow. I imagine that it is ultra competitive in the college golf space right now. I imagine you're looking for any edge that you can get. I imagine nutrition is part of that as well. So kind of give us an idea of some of the things that you are grinding on every day, or things that are helping you play your best.
Yeah. So, not that I've struggled with maintaining energy throughout the day, but it's definitely something that I need to focus on, because I'm always on the go. I'm playing a lot of golf all the time, studying, still in school. So I've got that to worry about. And I have to find time to work out as well. And, while water and Pedialyte and whatever is great, I kind of need a little extra pick me up. And been drinking this drink called Amino Energy by Optimum Nutrition, and it is basically it's a nutritional energy drink that I mean, I've seen it's paid huge dividends for me in my workouts. And I don't take it before I play it in competitive golf because I've got enough adrenaline pumping through my body. But on a Monday morning when I need a little extra kickstart, I'll drink one and it'll get me through the day, and definitely puts my mind where it needs to be.
I love it, man. That's awesome. Cole Hammer, we appreciate you very much for coming on. We're wishing you the best of luck moving forward.
Sweet, guys. Thank you.
All right. That'll do it for this episode of the First Cut Podcast, and we'll catch you next time.